everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Kara and I love to create through crafting, decorating, and cooking. And I also love to save money while I'm doing all my favorite things. So I'm finally back with another video. I work in an elementary school, and so this year has been absolutely bananas so far, and I have not had time to upload pretty much since school started. So I'm very excited to be back with this video today, talking to you guys about how I've created this adorable Christmas tree. I have had this idea in my head for a while. I really wanted to do a sweets or baking themed Christmas tree, so I'm stoked to be sharing that with you all today. There are a ton of elements to this tree, but I think all of them could kind of be mixed and matched. And I have not been able to hit the stores lately, so everything you're going to see today is things that I am just crafting from my stash. So I am just doing my best with what I have, and it's 2020. What more can we do? So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, go ahead and give it a like. Leave a comment down below letting me know which parts you liked, what was your favorite, and feel free to subscribe if you are not already subscribed to this channel. Alright, let's get on into how I put this tree together. Okay, so I'm starting off with this miniature Christmas tree I had laying around, and I am just taking some super cheap white spray paint and giving this a little bit of a flocked look. Now I am going to make the topper for this baking and sweets themed tree, and I am using this mesh wired ribbon. This stuff was just like exploding with glitter, so good thing I love the glitter. This is like a rose gold color. I think it ended up looking super gorgeous on this tree. So I am just making a couple of pretty big loops with this one. I don't measure, I just kind of like to eyeball things, and it usually works out well enough. So you just want to make sure that you have like at least 4 loops on either end. I didn't really do that though, but I made it work. So we started off with kind of a smaller set of loops, and then I'm gonna do a slightly bigger set of loops right here. So you can see I'm just kind of like comparing the two, making sure that this next one is slightly longer. I just have to say right here that everything I know about bows, I have learned from Olivia's Romantic Home. That woman is the queen of bow making, so if this is something you're super interested in, I would definitely recommend going to her channel and checking that out, because she makes some seriously wonderful bows. So I am now just putting a notch in the middle of my loops. This is so that the pipe cleaner has something to hang on to, and it'll help keep the bow together pretty nicely. And then you're just going to wrap a pipe cleaner. I picked this kind of like tan colored one because it won't stand out, it's way more neutral. And you're just going to wrap that around the center of your bow, and then you are just going to fluff this thing out like there's no tomorrow. Just separate all the pieces, kind of use the wire in that wired ribbon to make it look really three-dimensional and give it a lot of depth. And once this guy's all fluffed up, you're just going to grab your scissors and make a notch at the end of each one of the tails to give it that super finished and polished look. And this thing is going to make an appearance again later in the video as our gorgeous tree topper. So right under the bow, I thought it would be cute to do a sign. And you guys, I just got a Cricut, so I'm going to be using that to make the next couple projects. I'm going into Canva, and I created this Baking Spirits Bright design, and I'm just gonna save that to my computer, download it, And then I'm going to go ahead into the Cricut design space and pull in that image that I just made just by going into my files. And then I'm gonna select moderately complex, go ahead and continue, and then I'm gonna erase all of that negative space. So for me, I wanted the whole background, the background of that little rolling pin, and then in between all of these letters to be blank. So this was a little bit tedious and made it a little bit harder to read, but I feel like the way it came out, I'm super happy with it. It was definitely worth the extra time. When that was done, I just popped the image all with the background removed in. I selected no fill, and then I can just continue up at the top to make it. And I just decided to cut this out of a plain black vinyl. When that vinyl was cut out, I just transferred it onto this cute sprinkle paper, and I popped that into this Dollar Tree sign, and oh my gosh, I love this thing so much. Next up, to make some cute cupcake ornaments, I went into Canva again and found these two adorable cupcake images, and I'm going to do that same process of just saving this as an image so that I can insert it into the Cricut Design Space app. And you can see here that I cut out the cupcakes, but then I also cut out just the liners, and you'll see why I did that in just a minute. So I am just going back into Design Space. I'm going to pull in these cupcake images and the cupcake liner images, and I'm going to use these to, instead of cutting vinyl, to go ahead and cut some scrapbook paper and some cardboard. So I'm going to go to the same setting of no fill and then just go to make it. And if you're going to do this, remember to change the setting on your Cricut to like paper, and I just use that same exact sprinkle paper from the craft store for the first part of this. And then for the second part, I went in with just the cupcake liners, went to no fill again, and then went ahead to make that. And I cut these out of this super thin cardboard, and you will see how this comes together in just a minute. But I thought these little ornaments needed just one extra element, so I decided to make some tassels out of this Dollar Tree baker's twine that I had around the house. So to make a tassel, if you don't already know this, you just start by grabbing the baker's twine around however many fingers you want, depending on how long you want your tassel, but I usually just do 3 fingers, and so you wrap that around several times until you get your desired thickness of the tassel. I didn't want these to be too big because I didn't want them to cover up the cupcake completely, but you still don't want a real puny tassel because it'll just look sad. So I'm just going to keep wrapping that around until it's as thick as I want. There's no science to this. I don't count or measure or anything like that. And then I just trim the baker's twine off. I take a piece of twine and thread it through the loop so that this gives me something to grab onto, and this is going to become the top and also the hanger for my ornament. And then you just take one more nice long piece of twine, wrap it around the middle, kind of up toward about the, I would say the top quarter of your loops, and then tie that nice and tight. And then you're going to take the remaining tails from that tie you just made and wrap it around the tassel nice and tight to kind of give that defined tassel look. And then I just tie that off into a double knot. And then finally, you can take some scissors, trim off those extra tails, and then go in between the loop and just cut the whole entire thing to kind of free the ends of your tassel and make it look super cute. You can give this a little haircut if you want them to be perfectly straight. I don't really care about that, but this looked good enough for me. So then I used this as my hanger for the ornaments with the little tassel hanging on the front, and I think these came out super adorable. And for the circles that I used for the background, I literally cut circles out of a gift bag from the Dollar Tree. So here I knew that I was going to be putting some lights on this tree, but I wanted it to have more of a garland. So I took these pastel colored straws and some Dollar Tree baker's twine again, and I just chopped up the straws pretty small to make sort of like beads, and then strung those onto the twine for a garland. Next, I'm gonna make some chocolate covered cherries. So I had these faux cherries left over from Halloween and this brown apple barrel paint. So I went ahead and gave about 5 of these cherries a little coat of brown paint for some chocolate. And then I am just going to take a bunch of glitter and add that onto these cherries with some just good old Elmer's glue to make it look kind of like sugar or something. I just really like glitter, and any excuse to add some glitter is good enough for me. So just to give it a little more variety, I did something very similar with some more of these cherries, but instead of doing the chocolate covered look, I painted these cherries with more of like a purple color, and I thought these could be sugar plums, like, you know, the dance of the sugar plum fairies in the Nutcracker. I don't really know, this is probably not accurate, but I don't really care. I just think they turned out really cute looking, and they're gonna look awesome on this tree. This next one might be my favorite project of all of these. So what I am going to be making are some tiny whisks. This was inspired by something I saw online that they had at the Target full-size playground, and they were these like miniature whisks, and they might have had miniature rolling pins too, I'm not sure, but I was never able to find those at my Target store, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna make my own. So I'm starting off with some different pipe cleaners. I just happened to have silver or this gray, and then this like tannish brown color. So I'm gonna use the silver as like the metal part of the whisk, and then the tannish brown as like the wooden handle. So basically what I'm doing is taking the gray ones and cutting them in half, and then I am just intersecting them at the top and then twisting them around each other to make more or less this like whisk shaped bulb. So anyway, I'm just wrapping these around each other. It's super forgiving. I mean, if you make a mistake with a pipe cleaner, you can just undo it. So no harm, no foul. But anyway, as soon as I have that whisk shape completed, then I can just start wrapping the tan colored one around the bottom to make the handle. So when I reached the end here, I just twisted the remaining ends together to make this small loop that I can hang this ornament from on my tree. Oh man, I love this thing. It is so cute. In the last craft of this video, I'm gonna make some donuts. So I'm taking this burlap from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut it into a square, and then I'm going to cut a square of the same size out of this really thin cardboard to be the backing for my donut. And then I just cut a circle out of that piece of cardboard, and I am going to take a hole puncher and punch a hole into it so that my donut will have a place for the ornament hanger to go. Now I will simply cut my donut hole out of the burlap and out of the piece of cardboard. And I'm going to use tacky glue to hold these two together. For the frosting on these little donuts, I'm just dabbing on a little bit of white chalk paint. And then for the sprinkles, I had these pieces of plastic confetti that I got from the Dollar Tree, left over from another project. So I am going to use these mixed with some glitter for my sprinkles. While the paint was still wet, I just put the sprinkles on so that it would have something to stick to. And there's my donut ornament. And the ornament hanger can just go through the burlap and then through that hole we made in the cardboard. I am so proud, you guys, of how all of these crafts came together. Like I said before, I do think that little whisk is my favorite one, but they all look so cute, and I think they look great together on this tree. Thank you guys again for joining me today. I hope that you guys are doing great, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.